Morning people, I think we might have our work cut out for us today on this one, because the Virago 535 doesn't run. What I've been told is the person that got it, when he got it, he bought it and it had a single carb conversion on it, and he's bought a couple of twin carbs here and stuck them on, and hasn't had it running properly, so we need to have a look and find out why it's not running properly and see if we can get it going. Needs a little bit of work doing to it. It's like it's been a bit abused in the past, so we'll see what we can do. First thing I want to do really is just have a look inside those carbs, check the float heights and all that kind of stuff, and then we'll check the plugs, see if both plugs are firing on it, set them float heights, because they're probably not set properly, I would have thought. I know in this carb the two pilot screws, I've had the heads worn off of them where someone's tried to get them out and couldn't, and screwed the pilot screws up, so we might have to drill them out, but I don't really want to do that, so we'll see how it goes from there. So let's just take these holes off and have a look inside there. Black as the ace of spades, that one, look at that. So it's been really running a bit rich, way too rich. So different screws on there. I don't know if you can see that mark there, but it was like wedged right up against this bracket, so there's a good chance that this cable might be arcing to earth on that, which is quite a possibility why one side wasn't working. So let's try and get that plug out now. It's dry, but it's not half as carbonated as that other one. So I'll take these bowls off and have a look. Wait a minute. Right, we've got 4 screws There'll be a bit of petrol all over the place in a minute. Hopefully we won't fuck up the gaskets. Should be some clips on there, really, shouldn't there? Right, what have we got? Comes the petrol. That one. There's that one. Reasonably clean in there. I can tell you that's fucked. There we go. Oh. That too has got the wrong. See, because they're the wrong. I don't know. Right, I'm pushing it in until the actual valve stops, and that's way too lean. That's way too lean. So, same with that one, let's take them out. Take that kitty out of there. Out you come. That's that. I'll do these. Basically, got to take those top rubbers off. These ones in here. And put them through the filter box. Tricky. There's one. There's one. Get the other one off. Right, that's the carb off. All the bits and pieces that's out. Let's go and chuck it on the bench and have a look. Before I take the jets out, I'm going to take the tops off, take the caps off, and check out what the diaphragms look like in there. So I think one's a little bit suspect. So right, let's get a silly screws in these. Don't know what they're called. The Torx screws, maybe. Can't remember. I can't find my specialist screwdriver toolkit to get this out, to get that one out. Don't know if you can see that. Not sure if you can see that or not. those sons of bitches. Why would you put one of them in 3 normal ones? Don't make sense, does it? That's one. That's 2. I'm going to have to change them screws over for something else. I'll put it back. Bit cruddy around there. Let's take it out. Go and hold that up in the light and see if there's any holes in it. No, that's good. That's good. Number 2. You don't want to lose any little rubbers there either. Take some of these jets out, shall we? Too small. Yeah, nothing wrong with them. Nothing wrong with them. Just gently. The problem with having a air jet which is had the head screwed off or fucked up is you can't adjust it in or out, and the problem with these carbs now is, I don't know if you can see, you should be able to see it, in there is where the end of the air jet, the point of the air jet comes through, and I can feel it there. Who's ever messed about with the air jet has screwed it in fully, blocking off the air passage, so this carb is never ever going to run right. So unless you can drill that out, right, this carb is basically scrap. This one I can see a hole there, right, so that air jet has not been screwed fully in. Am I looking at you? Oh, you're not seeing that, money. So that's the one which is fully in. And this one, this side, right, you can see a hole in there, right, so you've got that carb's working a little bit, but you can't tune it up because the air jet is basically screwed. So unless you can get both them air jets out of there and pilot jets, air jets, whatever they're called, pilot jets. Once you can get both them out of there, then these carbs will be usable. But until, if you can't get any of them two out, these carbs are not really usable, because you'd never be able to tune the bike up. So I need to leave it there and get back to the person that owns the bike, asking whether he wants me or not to attempt to drill these jets out. Only trouble with drilling them out is if you go too far with the drill, you're going to lose the point off the end of the jet and you're never going to get it out. And plus you need a tool to go in there into the hole, get right down into that hole to secure itself to the jet which you've tried to drill out. Brass is pretty difficult to drill through, and then try and ease it out, and the chances of that are pretty slim as well, because whoever, you know, if somebody's gone in there and churned up the top of that screw head, then it's pushed itself out sideways into the body of this carb anyway. So you're probably... I'm just checking the floats, and I noticed that these two tangs on these floats are different. So there's like a couple of different floats there, and when I went to check the float height, let's show you something. Right, so I put the... can't get hold of it. I'm just going to stick the little jet in there, if I can. There you go. Right, this is the side, this is the one that come out, this is one that come out of that side, and then let me show you the float height on this. Make you laugh. There isn't a float height. That float should be sitting up. Can you see that just below that curve, or in there, right? There's like a mark. The float should be just like that, just touching that mark. That's about the correct float height for these. For this one, obviously run rich as anything, which is the one that I showed you earlier on in the video. Now this side, right? Let me pliers. Bear with me a second. Right, on this side, right? I go to put the jet in there, right, and it doesn't go all the way in. There's something stopping it. Something stopping it going in there. Alright. Let's get that out again. Nothing wrong with the needle. And I can't see. Here's my torch. And there doesn't seem to be anything in there preventing it going in. But what I did notice, if you can see the top of that, the top of this housing here, it looks a bit chewed up. Like maybe someone's replaced it and bashed it in there or something. But the other ones are not like that, and the other one's quite clean. And if I can't get a the float valve in there, then I can't set the float height. There's another problem with the carb. So there are some marks around. There are some marks around the side of that as well. So look, quite possibly that someone's tried to get that out and maybe disfigured it a little bit, so that needle won't go in there. So that's another problem we've got. So let's just quickly set the float height on this one so you get your little tang under there, and just bend it down a little bit. Then we're going to bend it down a tad more. Alright, so it's almost there. Just a little. Right, you see the try and do this. The little mark there. Let's come a bit, make sure it's in focus. The little mark there, just touching the curve of the float. That's the right height that you want your floats on the XV 535. But no chance for that side. But there you go. So that's apart from the air jets, these carbs are pretty knackered really. Need some new carbs. So that's just the idea, showing you how to set the float height on a Virago 535. Anyway, I'll catch you later.